Hi, it's me again. Remember my last clip? I had a wee section in there about the GPO workshop in Bankside. I spoke about the motorbikes that had the wee bantams. Here's a wee story, and this is true. As you know, the BSA bantams here like this were used by the wee telegram boys. I used to call them the putt-putts. 125cc. Top speed, if you were very lucky with the wind behind you, you got 30 mile an hour out of them. Normally 20, 25, something like that. Now they actually upgraded these. Can you see the difference between these four machines where they upgraded before I tell you? Let you hear a wee look. But as I say, this is what they used to use. Rigid framed, as we called them. In other words, the back end had no suspension whatsoever. So you can imagine the driver, all we had was a springing seat who was going up and down like this. That's what they upgraded to here. As you see in the back, this is not a GPO one, this is a private owned one, but you see in the back, they put a damper on it. But still the same springs on the seats and everything. 125cc, unbelievable. But that's because the reason I know this is because a way back, this one here is what I got. I bought this. And as you look, they're exactly the same. But they're no red, of course. Rigid frame, that's the one I had. One of my pals, his father bought him. This one, which we used to go about together on these. And as you see, mine was rigid. His had a wee spring on it. But still, it was no bad. It was no bad. But as I said before, they used to sell these off. Them and their vans. Their vans were, they started about a tenner upward, depending. These all went for a fiver. And I defy anybody who tells me otherwise, because I was there. This one here, there was somebody sent a message to me, where did I get mine? Well, I never bought a GPO, and this is a privately owned one I got. And it was we all know about the old motorbike people that used to be in Falkirk, Robert and Edie's, the sort of thing. I knew them, I knew the family, but I went to a place in Bonnybridge, Lockhart's of Bonnybridge. Maybe some of you will remember him. He had one of these, in fact that one, in his backyard. And he used to play about in it now and again. And I went out there to have a look. And he said, I've got you out the back there. And he showed me it. Started up my putt-putt. Oh, it went all right. I said, much want for that one? What about £18? And I'm saying, I didn't hear £18. Can I pay it up? Aye. Pay me 10 bob a week, then it's yours. Right, okay. So he gave me it, and every week I went back and paid his 10 bob sort of thing. And I ran that for years, believe me. The most economical bike thing I've ever had. I think you put about a gallon and a half in the tank, and that lasted you about a month, depending on the mileage, of course. But I went everywhere in it. I used to go from Falkirk to Comrie, quite a lot, back again. Never gave me any problems, but I did learn how the engine worked. It's a two-stroke. You had to watch the mixture with your petrol, or you'd burn, the smoke would come out the back, and all the rest. I could repair them quite easy. But one other thing that I wanted to say was about these over here. Can you see them? This here is a telephone box at Dawson Park, which is being reading up with that team I told you about. Inside was this. Can any of you remember these A and B buttons? Oh God, pain in the neck they were. You put your money in to make a phone call to somebody, those lucky to have a phone. Then all of a sudden go beep, 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 and everybody want more money. I dare say you've been there. But one other thing it did, and I actually did this from that phone box there, which they've been doing up. And this would remind me when they're going through the archives on this. One of them was obviously in there, And one time I had a wee Anglia car and it broke down and I couldn't go and see my girlfriend in Edinburgh. So, we're not on the phone. So I said I'll send her a telegram. So this is where I did it. I went up there first and asked them what it cost and they told me blah. So I had to go home and get the change so I could put in there. I went and got the right money. I went back up. I got the operator. She says, right, what would you like sent? And I had it all written out. That I couldn't get through and I'd meet her at such and such a place the following day or something like that, or go by train. I had to put the money in there. And they know what you put in. Don't ask me how, but they knew. And she's right, that'll be sent off within the hour sort of thing. And that was it. That was phones we had. Whenever you go about the day, every second person's got a mobile phone sticking out their ear. All hope they didn't take root. Anyway, at the other end, this is what they'd get. A post office telegram. And I don't know if anyone of you can remember, this is what you got. It was like something out of World War One, where it came out in a tick of tape, your message. And the wee boy had come up on his wee button like this. He'd come to his telegram and he'd stand there, so you'd read the telegram. Do you want a reply? If you say it's no, fair enough, he'd go away. But if you did, he'd get his wee notebook out and say, right, that'll cost you so and so. Then he'd take it back. You understand what I mean? He'd return your call to you. But that's how that happened back there, and it all relates to them. Of course, nowadays, I've never seen any Bantams GPO on it or motorbike. I've seen plenty of vans. They all have new fleets. They always seem to get the latest fleet, don't they? But that's a wee story. But that's what I had for many years for lockers. And it never let me down. Of course, I upgraded to other machines later on. Maybe I'll do a wee story about that. But this was on, Maddie. And it all relates to this, if you understand what I mean. In Bainsford, in Dawson Park. Now that is true.